On a Friday morning, as we have been doing for many weeks now, we are meeting with somebody from Imperial County talking about, the COVID-19 pandemic as well as what's going on around Imperial County. Today, we've got Deputy Robert Benavides of the Imperial County Sheriff's Office, and we're going to find out, some of the things that they have been doing. Good morning, Deputy Benavides.
Good morning, Carroll. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's another beautiful day in the neighborhood, so I figured we'd talk to somebody that spends a good deal of their time outdoors. Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, now, of course, COVID-19, the pandemic, isolation, face masks, all things like this. But here in Imperial County, the off-road season is upon us. And, we've got, Heber Dunes, we've got Superstitions, you've got Buttercup, Glamis. I mean, you've got all sorts of off-road recreation areas. And much of the responsibility for patrolling these areas is on the Imperial County Sheriff's Office. How do you manage?
Well, you're absolutely right, Carol, and I guess cautiously is the best way to put it. There's a very diverse area from our west side of the county to our east side of the county, and the types of recreators that we have throughout our desert areas. It's a job in its own, and that's why our Imperial County Sheriff's Office has a unit specialized to just off-highway vehicle enforcement safety, and they're called the OVES team. And they do it on a weekly basis, whether it's a stranded party, a number of different recreators in various areas, search and rescues. You name it, they do it on a regular basis, and it kicks off pretty much October 1, and it'll run all the way through April. And you're talking about cumulatively maybe a couple 100,000 people that come to our county in that said time.
Okay, and, some of the peak periods, obviously, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, President's Day weekend, where easily 100,000 plus people, migrate to the valley. And now, what type of equipment are you using? I know you're not out there on bicycles.
That's absolutely right. We wouldn't get very far, and we wouldn't be able to help many people doing that. So over the years, we've developed quite the array of different off-highway vehicles, including Can-Ams, Polarises, sand rails, two different types. We have an Extreme, we have a Funko, we have four-wheel drive trucks, we have ATVs, and all of it we utilize to encompass good patrol of the areas. And from time to time, we utilize our volunteer service units like Aero Squad to do flybys as well and get that eye in the sky to tell us exactly where we need to be and what we need to be doing.
Okay, and it wouldn't surprise me if you're not using them, you will be soon, drones.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Now, locally, a lot of the people local, on the big weekends especially, head to the Superstitions. That is oftentimes more of a local crowd. And you get folks that go out to the Glamis area. And as somebody that spent years riding motorcycles in the desert, you get the El Cajon Santee crazies that, somewhat have a mindset. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. I can do whatever I want. And you know the guys I'm talking about, right?
I absolutely do. I'd never go as far as to call them anything like that. But I would say they are enthusiasts, and they do have their own mindset for what the off-highway areas should and shouldn't be, and sometimes that is contrary to what we try to promote out there. We're promoting safety, we're promoting education, we're trying to protect lives, we're trying to protect property, and when you get in grand areas like that, you don't always have everybody complying with what we're trying to push out there. So it does take more staff to do that. It does take a solid presence. It does take a special officer to be doing it on a regular basis, because not every encounter is jubilant, right? Not every encounter is a happy one, considering you're ruining someone's fun while you're being out there. So there's a hard balance to get when we're trying to perform the duties that we're supposed to do out there.
Okay, and you're just doing your job, and you're trying to save their life in many cases. Okay, COVID-19. I know law enforcement, it's not something they really want to be doing, writing a ticket or a citation. You're not wearing a mask. Here, see the judge. It's not really what you want to do. How are you approaching things like that?
So most recently, we've been working with our local public health officials, our state and federal law enforcement and health officials, to really get out a joint message. And this joint message is going to promote education in what they need to be doing, they being our visitors to our areas, to really, we want to limit the spread. We want to keep people safe. And so this year, more than ever, we're not just about public safety, but we're about health safety, right? And so we're getting it out there that, hey, while it might be the desert, while it might be the open air, it's not exigent of exactly what we see in town. So we still do, we are going to push for people to wear masks. We are still going to push for hand sanitizer, for soap, for the normal things that we do on a regular basis within our homes or within our workplaces. These are still going to be prevalent in the desert areas. And most importantly, it's going to be trying to limit the grand congregating areas. What we do is we have a number of people from all our areas, like you mentioned, whether it be Santee, Alpine, San Bernardino, L.A., Phoenix, all coming to one area. And we don't want to promote this as a place to bring any kind of potential spread of COVID to our area, or then take it out and take it back to your area. So we want to push and educate as much as we can to keep good social distancing standards. If you're going to come out, come with your family, stay in your campsite, go to areas that aren't necessarily congregated by all. We have a couple areas within each of our desert regions that tend to populate and overpopulate just because of the fun that it brings, whether it might be a real big hill or whether it might be a real neat ride. We want to limit tons of people going to those areas, because that's where we're very liable to spread anything that might be out there. And so we just want to get it out there. We're going to be putting signage along our sand highways, along our areas that people will be camping. We're going to be pushing real hard through social media to let our visitors know that this isn't necessarily a getaway from the spread, because it is still possible, and we want to make sure everybody's safe while trying to enjoy themselves.
Okay, so you have a plan, and as you pointed out, the season, already people heading to the dunes, to the desert, and even to the river. The river is a story for another day, I know. People don't realize Imperial County, in the middle of the desert, has one of the longest shorelines in the state of California with the Colorado River. So, it's kind of an interesting situation, and I know that falls under the sheriff's jurisdiction as well. But again, that's a story for another day. So, any words of wisdom to share with the off-road people?
There's a safe way to play if everyone is going to enjoy our beautiful desert areas, and we just ask that they adhere to all of the public health safety standards that are out there. We're all in this together, as we've heard a lot. I know that our chief executive officer really pushes Imperial County strong, and we've got something real good going. And so just knowing that we have to take our own responsibility within this to do what we need to do to keep our community safe and to keep our lands beautiful. That's what really needs to happen.
And one word of advice from me: if you're drinking, don't get behind the wheel of that sandrail, that ATV, that motorcycle. You're liable to end up in jail.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Okay. Deputy Benavides, we appreciate the visit today, and, stay safe, okay?
Thank you very much, Carol. Look forward to talking to you soon, and feel free to come out and join us out there in the desert.
Only when the El Cajon crazies are not there.
Sounds good. Take care, sir. Have a wonderful Friday.
You too.
And now, more of the best oldies on the radio with Carroll Buckley.
Classic case of neurotic narcissism and a first-class smarty pants.
AM 1230 KXO.